Hello everyone, my name is Al Johnson, and what I plan on doing today is giving my first video ever on Chancellorsville, 1863. And when I say my first video ever, I mean the first time I've ever shot a video in my entire life. I have done a couple practice ones. I won't say they turned out too well, but I hope in this video to give you a understanding of the rules having to do with the bot. So it's going to be a human player, me, versus the bot. I will apologize right off the bat. My camera work is going to be horrible at best. I am not a professional at doing this. I'm not even an amateur. I'm not even a novice. I'm just a beginner. But I hope to at least go through most of the rules for the bot. Most of the situations a bot will go through, and then hopefully that you'll have a good understanding of the rules. It can be a little confusing when it comes to the bot. I did find the rules in the rule book need a little improvement, and Marie Suckling, the designer, is working on that, so that's good to know. There have been some clarifications posted in the files section. You may want to look at one of those or some of those. Okay, with that said, we're going to scan the board now just to give you the initial setup of the game. And first of all, on each side, you'll see right there are the Confederate, I'm going to call them leaders or generals. I'm not sure what exactly they are. They could be majors or colonels for all I know. But there you see the Confederates. And if you pan on this side, I'm the Union. I have played about 15 games of this, all as a Union player, because I am just doggedly determined to get the rules right. You'll notice for both sides, they start at 14 on the cohesion track. Okay, so that's the same for everyone. Below each Union and Confederate leader, for that matter, shows the amount of dice they would normally throw in battle if they're the human player. And I believe the 2x and 5x has to do with how many major and minor activations I'll have. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Over here you have Hooker. Hooker was a general. And the 3 cubes right there associated with him, they aren't really associated with him. I just put them there as a placeholder. Those 3 cubes are actually placeholders for key areas, key objective areas. We'll talk about that as we get there, if we ever reach that point. This is the only cube that has to do with him. You get to use Hooker once during the game. Maybe we'll illustrate that. And after you use it, you just slide it over. Okay, there are some cards that may allow you to use that more than once. In fact, speaking of cards, let's talk about those right now. So we have right here the tactics cards. You'll see there are 3 tactics cards to start the game. Normally they're just facing this way in a 2-player game, so both players will be able to see them at an angle. But for a solo player, I just turn them all this way. It's easier to read for my sake. Here you have momentum cubes, readout cubes, we'll talk about those. And over here, you have the hidden movement track. That's, of course, going to be very important. You also have 2 tables. One is for the player, and one is for the bot. We'll talk about that. We have our dice right here. We have a smaller map. That is going to be used in a 2-player game. I also use it to find the locations, because sometimes on the main board locations can be covered. All right. So also when we talk about the setup, what you're looking at, you've got several Union troops already, or formations already set up, and you have 3 Confederate formations set up. Now, the way these are set up initially, if you go here to Reynolds, it says start at 6. We go over here to Reynolds very easily. We place him at 6. We place Sedgwick at 5, and so on. If you look here, Sedgwick is at 5, Sickles is at 4, and way over here, Slocum is at 1. You'll notice here for Meade, Couch, and Howard. It says 2, 3, or 7 for all three of them for their starting locations. And that means you're basically given an option. So for now, I put Meade over at 7. Couch, I put at 3. And Howard over at 2. The Confederates work similarly. Colston, Hill, and Early. They start at 15, 14, and 13, which is right here. 15, and then 14, and then 13. You'll notice over here they've got start at 10, 12, or 22. For the bot, if they are not, if they don't have one single location, in fact, in other words, if they have multiple locations noted, you simply start them at the hidden movement track at location 0. All right? Other than that, what we will do, we'll start with 3 leader cards. And let's talk about one of those right now. So actually you get dealt 6 at the beginning of the game and you keep 3 of them. And I've kept 3 all with 2 blocks on them. Now they don't all have 2 blocks. Some have 1, some have 2, and some have 3. The reason I chose them all with 2 blocks will become apparent in a little while. But for now, let's just talk about a general card. So, well, I just noticed we have 2 of the same. So we have Reynolds and Sedgwick. So Reynolds here, anything in the big area, the white background, is what's called a major activation. So with a major activation, you can travel twice and attack up to twice. So you can travel once, attack, travel another time, and attack. You can even do that, if I understand correctly, against different competition, different opponents, different generals, if you want to call them that. Sedgwick is a minor activation. He can move once and attack once. And of course, you can always move without attacking. These 2 black squares here correlate to momentum cubes. Those will be used to buy the cards. Excuse me. And so when we play that, we will get the first turn 2 cubes. Now, if you ever play 3 cards in a row with the identical 3 cards in their 3 turns with identical number of cubes, for example, 2 here, you will get 2 extra cubes. It's a bonus. All right. Now, it's important to note you get 2 cubes no matter if you played 3 cubes of 1 in a row or 3 cards of 1 cube or 3 cards of 3 cubes. It doesn't matter. Your bonus is always 2 cubes. It's also important to note that once you have played 3 of a kind, 3 consecutive of the same kind, you discard those. You don't keep adding on for a 4th or a 5th. You basically reset. Okay, with that said, we're just going to go ahead and start. And to jump right in the action here, I am going to select Reynolds and Sedgwick. For one thing, I've got 2 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and select him right off the bat. I like to place him right here in the discard, but he's showing. Immediately, I will grab 2 momentum cubes, and I'll just place in my area over here by my dice. All right? And what this tells me, Reynolds has a major activation. Sedgwick has a minor activation. So what I'm going to do, I think, initially, because I'm just going to jump in here. This may not be a very good strategic, to show you the strategy. I really just want to show you how to play the game. So we're going to try to get in as many different things as we can. So we're going to start right off with a battle. And you see Sedgwick right there in minor activation. So it says he can move once and attack once. So they always move along the dotted lines, as you can see. All right. And you'll notice as we focus on Hill for just a minute, you'll notice there's 4 arrows going into him. There's 3 black ones and a red one. Well, Sedgwick is going to be attacking along the red arrow. So because of that, he's going to get a 1 dice subtraction. In fact, if you look right here, terrain modifiers. So imagine in that case, kind of going across that river here, there, and maybe up an embankment. So he's going to lose 1 dice, as shown right there. Okay? If it's a green arrow, he would gain 2 dice. All right? You'll see examples of green arrows right there. All right? And then, and I'm sure we'll come across that. And then, of course, the black arrows have no effect. The bot works differently. With the green arrows, they just get 1 extra dice. And with the red arrows, though, they also lose just 1 dice. Okay, so the default for Sedgwick is 5 dice. So we're going to attack Hill. I like to just move him up a little bit, show the attack taking place. So Sedgwick is going to throw 5 dice. So we take our 5 dice and we put them in my little dice tower here. Actually, I just rolled 4, so let's roll 1 more. And what we have here is 3 1s, a 2, and a 4. This is not a very good dice, so let me explain what I'm going to do here. But before I do that, I did forget something that I guarantee you I forget at least 2 or 3 times in a game, and I can't think of a good way to remember this. Anybody who can help me, please help me. Whenever I play cards, I like to immediately lower the cohesion. Because when you play a card, you're going to lower the cohesion value for each general on the card, and you're going to lower it 1 space. Now, that's whether or not you use a major or a minor activation. So in this case, let's lower Reynolds 1, and let's lower Sedgwick 1. Okay? Now, let's back to our dice. You notice I rolled 3 1s, a 2, and a 4. That's really a bad roll, and I'll show you why. If you come over here to the player table, what you'll notice, it says it has doubles listed in every case except for 3. So the only thing that matters for the human player are doubles. So in this case, double 1s will cause the attacker, which is me, Sedgwick, to lose 1 cohesion. Well, I don't like that. And I think I'm going to re-roll this. Now, the question I want to ask, how many do I want to re-roll? And I'm just going to re-roll all of them. I don't have to re-roll all of them. I could re-roll just 4 of them and keep the 4, since if I roll the number 4, it says there the defender would lose a cohesion. Okay? Now, when deciding to re-roll, I have to choose one of 2 options. Number 1, I can use 3 momentum cubes to do that. But if you notice, I only have 2 right now. Okay? So that's not going to work. The other option is I can lower a cohesion of my leader. And I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to lower his cohesion by 1. Really, I don't know if that's a great move, but it doesn't hurt because I'd be losing a cohesion anyway. Plus, it's going to illustrate to you, you lose a cohesion to do a reroll. So I'm going to grab these dice. I'm going to re-roll the whole thing, including the 4. Hope we get something better. And my goodness, you can't do much worse than that. Wow. Not a good start. So right there, I have 2 double 1s, 2 double 2s. I would lose 2 cohesion. It's just not worth it. I'm going to lose another cohesion. Not a good start for Sedgwick at all. Now, if you notice, I'm doing it again. You can do this as often as you want. You can push your luck. So it's kind of like you're attacking that hill, and I'm attacking across that ravine, and I keep getting pushed back. Well, we're going to go at it again. So I get my troops together, give them a little pep talk, and let's see if we do something a little better. Well, we got 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we've got singles of everything there, except for 2. And if you notice, the only single that matters is a 3. I would get 1 momentum cube. And you know what? I've been bashed so much in this battle, I'm just taking the momentum cube and place it right there. And that's the end of that battle. Not a good turn for Sedgwick. Let's hope things turn around. So let's put Sedgwick. He was unsuccessful. He simply returns to where he was. Now I have to decide with Reynolds. Now remember, I said Reynolds can move twice and attack twice.